Hey guys, because I'm just too lazy to write things out. This is the review of the Bala um, article on preventing burnout. Okay, in newly graduate registered nurse practitioners. So, all right, so I guess a high level summary. What this was it was a student, DNP student that I think it was a psych unit, where or he, she, Nasar, Nas, I don't know. Anyways, they wanted to reduce burnout of the staff, and so there's a whole, this article is freaking ginormous. It's ridiculously long. Um, to save some time, jump to like in like the late 20s to actually have stuff that is actually meaningful and makes any sense. Like you could start reading this at chapter 30 or page 30. You're going to be just fine. All right. So the intervention was that they were going to decrease burnout by doing three different things. One of them was that they were going to do yoga, like to help, I don't know, energize people. The other thing that they were going to do is like scripting for breath awareness. And if you go to the bottom to the appendix, go to page 54, you could see like what the actual interventions were. So they had a script for breathing awareness, and then a guide to loving kindness meditation. So basically, it was like all this kind of like, okay, you're going to do this mind self healing through mindfulness and meditation and yoga, and then all of a sudden, now you're going to think this is the best place in the world to work. That was basically it. It was more to it than that, but that's pretty much it. And so it was a quick turnaround. It was only 4 weeks, and then every shift people would like do meditation and they would do some yoga and stuff. So they did a survey before and after to see how people were with their burnout. They used this tool, which apparently is it's a validated tool on burnout. I forgot what the name of it was. The BAT, BAT. That was the tool. Okay, so now this is where it kind of gets a little bit shady. So the tool is, it's basically last questions like, at work I feel mentally exhausted, and then it's a Likert scale. It says like never, rarely, sometimes, often, always. Okay, and so people would rate them, but then to make an ordinal value, making it like a number, they assign each one of those things a number. Where I think always, or I don't know which one was higher or low. One of them was higher or lower. I don't know if never was 5 or never was 1. So they turned into an ordinal value so that they could do statistical analysis of it. And then there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 12 or 13 questions within that BAT thing. And so some like in other questions where I feel a strong aversion towards my job, never, rarely, sometimes, often, always. And then so they made an average for everyone's particular score after converting those to numbers, to to say, I guess, how burnt out they were. Now, so they did it before and after. So a couple major limitations. They lost 2 people. They didn't say who they lost. And they included the original data in the first analysis, which they should have thrown it out. So we had 2 people that did the first analysis that never completed the program. Maybe those were the 2 people that like really hated it there, and then they just stopped doing it because they actually left. So that's a huge limitation, because the post intervention only has 9 people and the pre intervention has 11. So what the heck happened to those 2 people, and what were their thoughts? Nothing's mentioned about that. And so they do a lot of fancy smancy statistics here. If you go to 59, and there was some statistical test I was actually not aware of. I have to look it up to know more information on it. But here you'll see, that's kind of bad. That's the pre, and here's the post, and they're comparing the burnouts, and they're saying that they went from a mean of 2.6 to a mean of 2.2, right? So okay, and supposedly, allegedly, at least they say it's statistically significant. They go and do a Z test and a whole bunch of other things to it. But the question is, well, first of all, those two people, who knows what happened to them? And they didn't include them, which I think just makes everything wrong. But this is where you talk about statistical significance versus statistical relevance. Like, does that even matter? Okay, so they went from a burnout rate, they dropped it, by 0.4. So is that anything meaningful? I don't know how that translates in this tool. So although it might be statistically relevant, I would argue, does it mean anything? Are these people still going to be burned out? Are they still going to, leave and not want to work there? So I don't think it has enough information on that. And, it's, as I said, it's one of those things where you can have statistical strength, but is it relevant? Like, say if you're doing like a weight loss thing, so you could be statistically significant that some program makes people lose like 0.1 pound, right? But does that freaking matter? Like, probably not. And so does this matter that they changed their score by 0.4? Probably not. But I don't know. But then they asked some other questions with the yes, no's, and apparently everyone wanted, which I don't think those other tools were validated, on if they wanted to work there still or not, and it went from like nobody wanting to work there to everybody wanting to work there. So that is more meaningful. But I don't think there's a really strong statistical analysis, and plus I don't think that tool was validated. So I don't know. This is some of the inferential statistics. So I guess we could talk about how that the average score of that BAT assessment dropped. And although statistical significance, might show it, but then again, we need to know those two people. I think they committed a bad boo-boo by just getting rid of those two people and not including, and just they should have gotten rid of them, eliminated them from the beginning. Because I don't know, maybe just removing those two people was what actually caused the statistical difference. Maybe you had really two bad apples, and they ended up leaving, and now you have a reduction in your score. Maybe it was because of those two people leaving, not actually because of whatever else did. So that's another thing. So there's my 2 cents. We could talk more.